Hi guys, I'm coming to you tonight and I am going to show you our recipe for chicken fried steak. So here we go. So what you're gonna need is 2 cups of flour. So I'm going to take and put 2 cups of flour in a shallow dish for the dredging. And depending on how many you need, probably cut this easily in half. If you're only doing a couple for couples, I'm doing 4 for the family, so I will do the whole recipe. And then it says to take and do 2 teaspoons of salt. And so I'm gonna sprinkle in some salt. Then you're going to need a teaspoon of garlic powder. Garlic powder. And a teaspoon of ground black pepper, freshly ground pepper, if you can. I have mine already ready to roll. And then you're going to add a half a teaspoon of paprika. This is your dry ingredients you're all mixing into one bowl. And then it says it's optional, but we kind of like a little kick in ours, so it calls for a little bit of cayenne, calls for about 1/4 of a teaspoon. So I will add ours because we kind of like a little kick. And that'll be your whole dry ingredients. I'm trying to find me a whisk. Where did my whisk go? Okay, so I'm gonna whisk that all up. And I feel like this, even for 4 steaks, is a lot of flour batter kind of stuff. But anyway, so I'm gonna set that one off to the side because I don't have enough room where I'm at. And then you're going to take 3 large eggs and crack it into another shallow dish. So, for some reason my refrigerator is must be a really cold setting. My eggs are frozen. Don't understand. I don't get it. My refrigerator's not even that cold. It's on above ideal. So it's not even like, it's like this, yeah, I don't know what the deal is, but it is cold. So hopefully my other eggs are not frozen. Yay, they're not frozen. So I'm gonna pull out 3 eggs. And hopefully these bad boys will defrost at some point. I'm not sure if they'll be any good then. So I'm gonna crack 3 eggs. Make sure I don't get any shells. 1. And while I'm making my that chicken fried steak part of it, I cheat and I use my Instapot to make my mashed potatoes because it takes little to no time and I don't have to worry about it. So that's another good, wonderful key there. And then you're gonna take 1.5 cups of whole milk. I don't have whole milk, I have 2%, so we're gonna go with 2%. Now if I can find my cup, here it is, still in the flour. So you could even, I'm guessing if you want a little bit thicker and more rich, you could probably use buttermilk. Personally, I think this is fine by itself, just using good old 2% or whatever you have available. If it's skim, it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna gently stir that up because my bowl, of course, is shallow, but not deep enough for me to do these eggs. Of course, I'm gonna make a mess everywhere. Sorry about that. Plate underneath of it, so at least if I make a mess, it's on the So moral of the story is get a shallow dish, but not too shallow. Because I am struggling, I might have to switch to a different bowl. Anyway, here finally got a good rhythm. Okay. Got that nicely whisked to a creamy yellow color. And then you are going to take and do a fourth of a cup of canola oil, which I already put in, and it calls for butter also. So you need 3 tablespoons. It's not my day. So I pop off my 3 tablespoons of butter. If you have margarine, anything like that, whatever. Otherwise, I mean, you could probably even just use a little bit more oil if you really wanted. So I'm gonna go put that in the skillet, and we're gonna get that heating over medium heat. They make a ton of noise. Put some of my stuff away so I have room to do the chicken fried steak. Brought all my seasonings with me. Okay. Put that away. And grab the steaks. And I don't know about you guys, but the recipe calls for a cube steak, and cube steak is fine if that's what you have. I don't like it because it tends to not fall apart as easy and it's kind of a chewy. So what we do is we get a chopped sirloin one, and it just crumbles. You barely have to chew, which is kind of bad, but so that is what we use when we go to make ours. I will fair warn you, they do tend to crumble a little bit more. So if you would remember, I tend to forget, put them in the freezer for just maybe 5-10 minutes before you're ready to use them. Get them a little hard so that they stay together. I always forget, but that's a good tip in case you do use them. And then I am going to put on gloves because I don't like all this goop getting in my rings. And I could take them off, but then I forget to put them back on sometimes, so I'm just putting gloves on. And it works just fine. So I am going to do that. And hold on one second. Okay. So then you're going to take the steak, each steak, put them in the flour, then the egg mixture, then the flour mixture again, put them in the pan. Or you can put them on a cookie sheet until which is what I'm going to do, until the oil and the butter get to a bubbling. So I'm going to go ahead and start those. And then sometimes, again, this is a preference, entirely up to everybody. I have a recipe that for your normal white gravy, but if you are ever not in the mood to go to the work to make the white gravy, another option, we like using brown gravy with ours. So packets of them. I am not a gravy maker. It is one thing I have not figured out without the help of usually a packet or a really good recipe. I have not figured out that cornstarch water ratio or flour and water ratio, however you use it, and getting it thick and not tasting like cornstarch or flour. So we don't tend to have gravy very often in my house, and I love gravy. It's not good for you, but I love gravy. So unless it comes from a roux standpoint, I usually struggle with that. So, We do love chicken fried steak here. It's actually kind of one of Knox's favorites, which is kind of strange because usually, yeah, kids don't tend to like normal people food. They like hamburgers and hot dogs and chicken nuggets and yeah, all those things. But Knox really, really does love chicken fried steak. Okay, on my last one. I love getting a nice good coat on them. I like the crunchy battery on a chicken fried steak. So, I mean, you can, if you really want even some more, you probably could dip them again and do it again if you really wanted to. Some of it, unfortunately, does tend to come off when you cook it. So, anyway, and now, like I said, there's plenty of flour mixture over, so you could probably cut that, and so much egg mixture. So honestly, if I were to tell you this again, I would probably cut it, the flour, yeah, I'd probably cut it in half, even for 4, because there is a lot of excess, and it's not like I can use these eggs for scrambled eggs because they got all sorts of goop in it. I guess you could, in all honesty. My kids wouldn't eat them, but you could put them in the fridge or something and save them. But so that is the chicken fried steak. You're gonna go ahead and once the bubbling, the oil and stuff is bubbling, you're gonna go ahead and put them in there, and I'd say maybe 15 minutes, maybe. Kind of just have to keep an eye on them, and then if you want to make the gravy, the recipe call is a black peppercorn gravy, and instead of keeping you on here and doing that, it is 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. It is 3 cups of whole milk, again, milk, whatever milk you have available, salt, and fresh black pepper. That's it. You're gonna go ahead and reduce the heat on the skillet into medium-low and add the flour. So that's how you're gonna make the roux. This is why I can make this one. Whatever oil is left over, add the flour, mix that up really well, and then when it starts turning a lightly colored, then about 1 to 2 minutes, whisk in the milk and to make the roux, and add it 1 cup at a time, so you let it get kind of warm up, and then add some more until it starts thickening. You want to 1 cup, thicken it, add another cup, thicken it until you're done with your 3 cups, and then add the salt and pepper at the end and cook for about 5 minutes until it's completely thickened, and you are ready to roll. Then we usually add a can of no salt peas, usually with ours. We like peas with our chicken fried steak. So that is our meal tonight. We hope you try it and enjoy it, and we'll see you soon. Bye.